Hello and welcome to the Giraffe Social Media Podcast. It's what social media managers are talking about. I'm Katie and today I'm joined by Chloe and Alicia.
Hi!
Hi.
Coming up on this week's episode, we'll be discussing how going viral isn't always the best goal for your social media strategy, as well as taking a dip into metaverse updates. Stick around to the end of the show where we'll be answering one of your burning DMs. So, we talk a lot here about our personal preferences when it comes to social media, and I love a game of Would You Rather. So today, we're going to combine the two. How does that sound?
Fabulous.
I'm excited.
Yeah?
I feel like
Okay.
it's such a great way for the listeners to get to know Alicia. She's
Exactly.
joining
Since
us
I'm very
today.
new. Hello.
Okay, so first one. We got 3 of these, by the way. Would you rather only have TikTok or only have Reels?
Oh,
And
only have
extra
Oh, sorry.
bonus on here, you're not allowed to move like TikToks onto Reels and vice versa.
Easy. So easy. Who was I saying this to? Maybe I was saying it on the podcast, but I feel like Instagram Reels is still kind of that like aspirational, like really polished, this is my holiday, like oh my god, living the life type thing. And I'm just not about that at the moment. So
No.
I fully, as all the listeners will not be surprised to hear me say, I'm TikTok till I die. It's just like more edgy and fun than Reels could never. Like they could never.
What about you, Alicia?
I totally agree with like Chloe. I think if we could have TikTok for the rest of our lives, I would be absolutely happy. I think Reels are just like the thing on this side. That sounds horrible, but you know, like.
Oh, we dunk on Reels all the time, don't worry.
Okay, perfect then. Oh.
We are thoroughly team TikTok on here, which is why I started off
Absolutely.
with an easy one for that Would You Rather. Okay, second one. Would you rather only use LinkedIn or Twitter? I know this is a sore spot for Chloe.
Well, yeah, like neither. No. I'm not on Twitter, so I'll say LinkedIn purely because like I'm on LinkedIn, but I also feel like maybe LinkedIn is a bit more interesting. I don't know. Like I know that Twitter's a bit trolly, it's a little bit like not a great place to be all the time, whereas LinkedIn is just people telling me about how the person who served them coffee was also their boss. So
in like 17 paragraphs in one update.
Yes. I also love a social media platform that lets you react to things. So the congratulations, the little insightful guy, it's great.
I love that. What about you, Alicia?
Well, I mean, like, I've got to disagree with that. I mean, I've been, I know, I'm so sorry. I've been on Twitter ever since I was like 16. Like, that was my first
Same here.
social media platform that I wanted. Just because like One Direction were on there. Sorry. And I really always wanted to follow Harry Styles. So that's just that. But I think when I like want to scroll through news, like that's where I go to. I don't even go on like news apps. I go on Twitter to see what's trending. But
I totally get that.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. I love it when we get like
different
not the same answer. Exactly. And I'm personally team Twitter. Because I like short form content. Anyway, the last one I've got for you guys, it's a little bit late from like the Valentine's theme, but we're still going to go with it. So would you rather have a date in the metaverse, as in the VR section of it, or a Snapchat scavenger hunt, which I only learnt about from the Giraffe social media Instagram account?
Yeah, I wonder where you got that idea from, Katie.
I have no idea. It's totally original.
No, do go and follow the Giraffe SM account on Instagram. I don't know, Alicia, I'm interested to hear what your answer to this would be.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't even know what a Snapchat scavenger hunt is. So I'm going to have to go with the metaverse date. Especially since you don't actually have to get ready in like person. You can just get your like little thing ready and then it's like, hi, how are you? And then just go from there. So I'm going to go with that one, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Chloe?
Ooh, I don't know. I'm into either. I'll say Snapchat scavenger hunt just to be different. I have a different opinion. I think I love any kind of scavenger hunt. And a virtual one also sounds great. I would like to walk around a city and snap things and send them to whoever. I think that'd be great.
Yeah. It sounds like a pretty cute date idea, to be fair. But then also, I like the idea of not having to get ready for stuff. Moving on to our main segment of this week's episode, we're going to be talking about going viral. Now, I think when a lot of people think of marketing, especially in social media, they think of going viral. And for many, the idea of their business or their brand suddenly getting propelled into the spotlight and experiencing so much attention is just a dream. And with platforms like TikTok commonly rocketing ordinary people up to virality through its For You page, this is often like unintentional for the creator as well in many cases. Like, I don't know about you guys, but like quite often when I see like videos come off on my TikTok and there's a part 2 and it quite often, or like a story time attached to it, and like the person always starts it off with like, I didn't expect this to go viral and like I didn't know this was gonna blow up. So it's like a level of like unintentional virality now that exists that didn't really exist before. And for the most part, going viral isn't necessarily the most sustainable strategy, and it can come with many pitfalls, whether this has been done like controversially or unintentionally. But I really want to hear what like you guys feel about this. What do you think about going viral as part of your strategy, not including it when it happens unintentionally? Just give me your thoughts.
Yeah, I think it's, as a social media manager, you always kind of have, this concept of viral and virality in the back of your mind. Like, obviously, that is kind of like the hope and the dream. But I think what kind of becomes a bit tricky is when that's your client's main focus. And a lot of people these days, like, numbers is the main focus for them. They want to reach 50K by the next 3 months, and that's like not only unrealistic, but it's also just a little bit unsustainable, as you mentioned, and it's a lot of pressure on us. Let's be real.
Yeah.
But I kind of want to start off, you mentioned there like the concept of going viral is unsustainable, and I think you're so right. Like, how often do we see accounts that blow up just by chance and then are forgotten about in the next, following months? I think it's such a common occurrence, especially with apps like TikTok, and especially for creators more so than brands. But I actually experienced this, which is kind of like an interesting thing to experience, and also like gave me a lot of insight into this concept of valuing community over virality. When Reels kind of first came out, this is an old story I tell all the time, but I posted a Reel. I guess I was one of the first, a few thousand people to do it, because Instagram really backed it, and they showed it to 1 million people. It got 1 million views, and my account grew by like 2,000 followers in the space of a few weeks, which was like a really thrilling experience, right? Like, it is totally awesome when you like feel like you've seemingly hit gold. Like, it's kind of like a feeling or a thing that you want to chase forever. But after, the kind of hype of that died down, and this kind of happened over the space of a week, it really, really bummed my engagement. That's a really bad word, bummed my engagement. But, like, it hurts your engagement. It's like when you run a giveaway and you gain all of these followers, and your engagement goes up crazily in this short span of time. And then after you've chosen a winner, all those people that kind of joined you at that moment in time slowly drop off. So what I actually saw was like a massive decrease in my followers over the following months. My engagement dipped, and I think as a result, the Instagram algorithm and its mystic, ways kind of punished me for that. Like, I had suddenly gained 2,000 followers, but those people kind of turned into ghost followers, I guess, and they weren't interacting with any of my other content, and as a result it really hurt my engagement, and it really hurt like my posts following that, because as we know, Instagram shows your post to a portion of people in the first hour, and then based on the success of that pushes it out to the rest. So naturally it probably showed it to those people who had just joined me, and maybe they didn't care, and it subsequently hurt the engagement. So I think it is like something to consider, that this viral thing that you've done can hurt you in the long run, and it is like a really short and quick rush, but it doesn't really get you anywhere, really. Like you may gain followers, but they may unfollow you straight after, if that that one piece of content that they loved doesn't reflect the rest of your content. Like maybe you tried something new and that did really well, and then you stop doing that, and the people kind of drop off as a result. So I don't know if you guys kind of have experiences, or you kind of think the same as me.
No, I totally get that. Like I've experienced that on TikTok, for example. Like I feel like in the cosplay area of TikTok, where I reside, it can be like very unpredictable. Like I'm convinced no one can actually like actively go viral. Like it's not a thing that like happens. Like you can't manufacture that, right? And it's always the stuff that you least expect it as well that gets the most attention. For me, instead of all of my like handcrafted, like so many hours put into like costumes I've made, the most viewed video on my TikTok account is me dressed as Freddie Mercury from the I Want to Break Free music video, and it's currently in like millions. I think it's got like 6 million views at this point. And I mean, TikTok's obviously a different beast from Instagram, right? And like, it's a lot easier to suddenly just like boost up your video. But no, like I totally agree, Chloe. Like it's not a guarantee that you're going to get like the same engagement throughout. And like, I don't know, it kind of, especially when you're just like one person, it kind of does a bit of like a personal hit as well, because then you're trying to chase it and be like, how do I do this again? You kind of can't, which is not really advice that we should be giving as like social media experts, but like we can't guarantee those results,
Yeah, I think what were we saying before we jumped on the podcast? Virality fades, but community is forever. And
I want that on a t-shirt.
I think that's kind of like the basis of today's episode, is kind of showing you that there should be more of an emphasis on building a community, however small that is. Lady Gaga always says there could be 100 people in the room, but all you need is that one person. I love that quote. And it's the same. Like you could have 1 million followers that you've gained over a piece of viral content, but that doesn't guarantee that those 1 million followers are all interested. If you have a smaller following, but a more engaged and a more niche kind of following, that's so much more valuable to you and your brand in terms of like pulling conversions and creating like a loyal community than any piece of viral content will ever get you. So I think that's kind of the message that we're trying to hone in.
Yeah, I totally get that. What do you think, Alicia?
Well, I mean, like, I think you guys have hit probably all the points, but like, I think going viral is fun and it's exciting in the moment, but then
also terrifying.
Very, very scary. I think, I mean, I didn't go viral on TikTok, but one of my videos did get like 5,000 views and like 1,000 likes or something like that, and it just kept blowing up my phone, and it was like one of the ones like you guys said earlier on that you just don't expect, and you're just like, and then it just kind of dies down, and you're like, oh, okay, well, it could have gotten more, but like, it's like almost a sinking feeling, you could say, like, but it's like also, again, not good for like growing a community in a sense. So I mean, like, you can gain people from it, like, I'm not saying you can't, but in terms of like the long run, I don't think you should be focusing on going viral, basically. If that makes sense.
Yeah, it's like this idea that, we say it all the time on the podcast, but social media is about being social at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And I think going viral, it's kind of about you, right? Like it's a very kind of self-centered, skewed focus, as opposed to trying to build this community and trying to kind of build an ongoing, sustainable kind of following. And I think when your only focus is getting as many shares as possible, you lose focus of creating content that provides educational value to your followers. And you've kind of stepped out of this conversation, because, you know, social media is all about creating conversations. And instead, you've started just talking at people. You started, you know, throwing things at the wall and seeing what sticks. And it's very transparent that that's what you're trying to do, that you're trying to create something that's going to blow up, as opposed to something that's going to really engage and target your audience. And I think when it comes down to it, like, when you focus on creating that sort of content that educates your audience and incites a conversation, you almost begin to see those shares happening anyway, because you know, if someone finds your content interesting or valuable or educational, they instinctively want to share that with their audience. So that's where the shares come from. And, you know, that can always lead to virality. But I think important things like saves are almost more important than shares, because it means that people are going to continue to revisit this content, as opposed to it being a fleeting moment in time.
Go on.
I was just going to say, like, you know, making, like, to add on to Chloe's point, it almost creates pressure in a sense, like, rather than, you know, creating like high quality content for like your ideal customer base, the notion of going viral starts to like put pressure on things, and then things just don't like become fun anymore. It's like it's almost like a bit like, oh, it's a job to do now kind of situation.
Yeah, and I think people can tell if you're trying to force it as well, especially on like apps where you're meant to be like more authentic and everything, like TikTok. You know, we've discussed that in the past, but like if you're trying to manufacture like virality, it's not going to come across genuine. And I don't think it's gonna, if it does work, it's not going to work for reasons that you're going to enjoy, you know? Like if you are actively planning on going viral, you've got to be prepared for the repercussions that could potentially come from that. Like I was watching this video about this that actually like inspired this whole conversation. It's a YouTube video by Smoky Glow. Go watch her on YouTube if you want. Where, you know, businesses on, especially like TikTok, if they've like completely blown up on the For You page, and then they're getting like loads of negative comments about like their products and everything, you know, because people are mean on the internet. Like I don't feel like that's an unfair thing to say. And like, because, you know, we're not really designed to deal with like that many people's opinions at one time, wherever you go on your phone, you know? The comments are all coming in, and I think it's quite common for businesses as well, or like business owners, especially when they're like a small one, and it's just you versus all these commenters. I think what gets promoted a lot, and this was kind of said in the video, is that what gets promoted really well is people like clapping back at these negative comments, which then kind of ruins your business reputation in a way, because you're acting like really unprofessional, and it all kind of goes back to like how you want to present your brand. If you're trying to go viral, because you're trying to push it out to as many people as possible, right? And you want to give off the best impression. If someone's being like, oh, your product's rubbish, like I could do this for so much cheaper, and you're having like a really aggressive response, like that might gain more attention, but like, is it the attention you want? Like, is that how you want to put across your business, if that makes sense, you know?
Yeah, like instantly transported me to those resin makers on TikTok. I think on the plus side though, like we have been spending a portion of time telling you that you shouldn't be trying to go viral, but the good thing is that with the introduction of this short form content that every app is seemingly trying to push at the moment, there are lots of opportunities to go viral, and a lot of them come from, you know, there's not often a formula, which means it's great for people and small businesses who aren't expecting it, and they go viral for the right reasons, like having really great, genuine products or services. So I think that's always a positive thing to remember, that perhaps instead of focusing on creating content that appeals to like everyone, because that's just not possible, focus on your niche, but put that energy into creating the short form video content that is really like boosting brands and small businesses at the moment. Like regardless of your skill level or regardless of your products, there is like hundreds of thousands of niches out there that can really kind of you spotlight your business in a way that you might not be expecting. So less focus on trying to like create viral content and more focus on creating this video content that has so much potential and so much backing to go viral. If that is really your goal and your ambition in life, I think that's kind of the correct way to target your energy.
No, I totally agree, and I think that's the perfect place to like leave this. And there you have it. There's our thoughts on going viral. Let us know your thoughts at GiraffeSM on Instagram. Let's talk metaverse.
Oh God.
I'm sorry.
Fun stuff.
I'm gonna try and simplify this as much as I can because I'm oddly fascinated by it and this is my episode, therefore I'm gonna force us to talk about it. So recently Mark Zuckerberg, the great Zucc, held a meeting to announce Meta's updated values. And in 2017, when they were in probably like wave 3 of controversy when they were still known as Facebook, they released a mission statement where they wanted to make the world more open and connected, bring the world closer together. And you can kind of see this in the stuff that was recently announced that came out of this meeting. Now, the overall goal, from what we can tell from Metaverse, includes quite a lot of those elements, with these 5 specific points that I'm just going to run through very quickly. To move fast together, build awesome things, focus on long-term impact, live in the future, and be open, which is like a lot of like annoying techie like corporate jargon. However, you know, it's kind of all resonant. Like you can kind of see that's what they're trying to do with what they've shown so far with the whole VR thing. I'm sure you guys have kind of seen that. I mean, we kind of talked about it at the beginning of this episode with like a metaverse date. I think there's been like a metaverse wedding at this point, which I'm like, where, you know, users have avatars, they're engaging in like an entirely immersible digital space. Now time will tell what's going to come next for the metaverse, and by judging all of that stuff that I've just thrown at you and what you know already, like, what do you guys think? Like, what do you think is coming with the metaverse? Do you reckon it's going to be good? Is it going to be a flop? Like, what do we think?
I don't know. I feel like the metaverse could potentially be like a Bitcoin thing where the finance bros like jump on it and it's kind of like, or like the Reddit users jump on it and then it's like there's a very niche community that took hold of the metaverse and like that's sort of their thing and they try and convince everyone that, oh dude, the metaverse in 20 years is gonna be like I feel like we're already kind of going that way with NFTs, right? I think that's why I'm making that connection.
I mean, NFTs have kind of been included with like the proposals for the metaverse, something like they're gonna have like online concerts, online gigs and that, and then like the merch you can buy is gonna be like an NFT shirt. I have my own personal opinions on that, but I don't want to get into NFTs right now. But that is like definitely part of the way it is looking, Chloe. Alicia, what do you think?
I was gonna say, I think the metaverse is definitely gonna stay a little bit longer, only because I think it's a new concept. I think, and I mean, like years before, I think the concept of a metaverse, obviously not called the metaverse, was always like brought up. Like, I don't know if you guys have seen Black Mirror, that episode where they have that avatar and you know what I'm talking about. So like it's always been kind of a concept, and I think it's a new and exciting concept. I think even like people my age, they're like investing in these NFTs things, and I also heard that McDonald's is going to include themselves in the metaverse. So interesting.
A collab.
Exactly. It's fun stuff.
The crossover we never knew we needed.
A good old Big
It kind
Mac.
of makes me think of like like, I don't know if you guys watched SpongeBob when you were younger, but there's like an episode where Plankton eats like hologram food, and that's all I can think of now. You've like told me that like McDonald's is gonna collab with the metaverse. Yeah, no, I totally agree. It does kind of feel like it feels very like future, but also like. So the thing I find funny about the metaverse, especially the whole like VR thing, is they're selling it like it's an entirely brand new experience when actually it's just kind of a new experience for Facebook. Like MMOs have always been a thing, you know, the major multiplayer. Oh, I can't remember what that's called. Anyway, MMOs have always been a thing where, like, you know, you had like Club Penguin, for example, Second Life, all of that stuff. Exactly. This has been a thing for a very long time. Oh, classic. And like, yeah, it's not that new. Like, I don't want to constantly be dunking on Facebook, but like they make it too easy. But like when it comes to like VR as well, like there's been this thing called like VR chat, I think. It's like the number one on Steam for VR games at the moment, and basically offers like everything the metaverse is offering at the moment, you know, and like it's kind of assuming that everyone has access to like VR capability and that, you know, as well. So I don't know like how much it's gonna bring people together, which seems to be like their ultimate goal. But I don't know if I'm convinced.
Yeah, I think when Facebook picks anything up, like you kind of know it means business. Like I think these virtual reality worlds, everyone's kind of been like, yeah, that'd be funny, haha. Like not taking it too seriously, but it does kind of it does have a sense of Black Mirror about it, where I'm like, okay, well, Facebook is like the powerhouse of, and Mark Zuckerberg is, you know, something else. But so I think it will eventuate into something massive, and like people will naturally kind of lean towards it. But I feel like it's only 2022, man. Like I feel like we're a bit early in the timeline for this. Like slow down.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just like, and this is like probably like my final thought on it, but I'm just like, I don't know how much I like the idea of like being entirely immersed in social media. Like headphones, headset, like nothing around me in the real world is like tangible. All I don't care about all of that. I'm only in this like online space, and I don't know how I feel about that.
I totally agree.
Yeah. But you know, that's our thoughts. Like what we want to know, like what our listeners think is coming next for Meta. So let us know your thoughts at Giraffe SM. So this week we asked our followers on the Giraffe social media Insta to ask us any of their questions about going viral. Today's direct message reads, what's the easiest platform to go viral on? Ooh. What do we think, guys?
Good question. Yeah, I think like we kind of touched on it at the end of our main segment there. And I think it's got to go to our favorite short form platforms at the moment, which, you know, is definitely TikTok and arguably Instagram. Like, you know, we've mentioned all three of us have had success on both. And I think it is like these 7-second videos seem to be the way to go with things. You know, TikTok, it's very, very easy to go viral on. Like, I'm sure everyone you know has like had some sort of virality in the sense of like, you know, we're not influencers, we're just common people. And I would say a common person even getting 5,000 views is viral. So definitely TikTok, and I think Instagram as well, but in a different sort of way, in the fact that they're pushing this, like they are actively pushing short video content. So again, like you could create just like a very normal video, seemingly normal video that you know, is interesting to people, and Instagram will push that, and the next thing you know, it has got like, you know, tens of thousands of views, which I think is great. So yeah, those would be the two big ones for me. I'm not sure if you guys agree with that.
I agree with TikTok, also Instagram Reels, but TikTok more so because of the structure of the app, I guess. I guess because of the For You
Mm.
page, it kind of
Yeah.
caters content to like the person whose account it is, and in that sense, it's almost like you're scrolling through. You don't even know who these people are, and like it's
Yeah.
like the whole concept of like anyone can go viral, and anyone can show up on the For
Totally.
You page. So I guess
Yeah.
for that,
It's like couch boy
Yeah.
talk, right?
oh god, oh that was
Yeah?
rough.
I feel like that's like the perfect example.
That was rough. Yeah.
Absolutely. The For You page, like the TikTok algorithm is so intuitive on ways that like I will never be able to explain. I think what you said, Alicia, is so true. It's almost like you are being fed content that isn't in the grand scheme of things, like it's not being catered to you. I'm sure the person who created it did not have you in mind, but the mighty powers that be at TikTok just knew that you would be interested in it based on the previous videos that you've watched. And you follow people on TikTok, but I don't think that's the main kind of that's not the main feature of the app. And I think that's where it kind of veers off from where Instagram is where you pretty much only get shown content from people that you follow, and you don't know everyone in the world, and you can't possibly discover every account that exists. And I think that's why TikTok has that edge, is because it knows that you couldn't possibly find everyone that you want to follow in the world, so it brings them to you. And I just think it's such a crazy intuitive algorithm, and that's why it's so easy to go viral.
Definitely.
No, I agree with that. And I mean, to throw another like potential platform in the ring, and I think Alicia might agree with this, being another Twitter user, but I think on Twitter, although like it's a bit more unpredictable and it's not quite like as, I don't want to say easy as TikTok, but it's a very different algorithm. But if you get retweeted by like the right person because you're like part of like a trending topic, like you can very easily have tweets just like fully blow up. Like I remember back in like the general election, which is a weird place to take this, but follow me on this. I put out a little tweet that was just like, oh, my like watching my generation show up to like the polling booth today, and like I included like the gif of like, oh, spoilers, but like the end of Endgame when like everyone's coming out of the portals to like save the day. And like that did some mad numbers. I was like in my uni library because it got like picked up by like The Guardian or whatever.
Really?
So I was just like, yeah, I had to like turn off my phone because like I was trying to like write my essay, but Twitter was demanding my attention. But no, it's definitely a case of like Twitter's very much more like right place, right time type of virality, whereas like TikTok is definitely just like something will go viral for you probably.
Yeah, I agree with that, sure.
Yeah. So that was our top DM for this week. If you'd like to be featured in next week's episode, then make sure you keep an eye out on Instagram at GiraffeSM. Well, that's all we've got time for today. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, or follow us if you're listening on Spotify. We'd love to hear what you thought about today's episode, so make sure you reach out on social media and let us know what you thought. We've been Giraffe Social Media, you've been amazing, and we'll see you next time.